Got me back on? Okay, so where did I get to?
You were saying it's just been it's been tough, particularly in New South Wales and Victoria.
Yeah, okay. All right. So really, what I was saying is that whilst it's been tough in those states, it has forced everybody to the vaccination tent, and we've got strong vaccinations in those states as opposed to the lag states of WA and Queensland in particular, where the vaccination rate's in the 70s, low 70s. So really, it's created these major artificial market distortions. None greater than in this state here, where everybody's businesses is going completely bananas, and no one wants to do anything. No one wants anything to change. So hopefully by say mid-January, at least from this perspective here, we might be open, and I think that's going to hopefully run across the entire country, and we'll be back to international travel early in the new year. My hope is that these premiers start focusing on the hospitalisation rate and not the daily COVID numbers, because as you'll see in Victoria and New South Wales, they're still relatively high, but the hospitalisation's low and the death rate's relatively low, which is the whole impact of the vaccinations. And our original lockdown and close the economy was done to save the hospitals, and the vaccines will now come into play, and hopefully we should see that hospitalisation drops, and therefore we can remain open. And just looking at the new rules for Victoria that I saw we published yesterday, I think the governments are certainly heading that way. The staff of the ACWA did take a brunt of what's happened over the last couple of years, as well as anybody else as an operator whose business has fell. The staff have had to do a lot of work on a lot less hours to help our financial position, and certainly from the board's perspective, we've thanked them a number of times for that. And I'd like everyone to extend their thanks to the team of Janine and Doug and Fiona, who worked tirelessly during this period. Where we didn't know what was going to happen, we had to do a hell of a lot of lobbying for various states across a whole bunch of different legislation, which is almost impossible to keep up with daily. And then, we had to deal without holding a show last year. So we are now in the planning of, bringing that back online, and the guys have done a tremendous job. So appreciate that the team really did pull it up when they needed to. So thank you for that. Sorry, and during that time, I'd just like to highlight a couple of things that happened, just to give you a couple of examples of what's happened. We often get asked, what's the benefit of being a member of ACWA, and often we talk about the industrial relations provided by Graham and the work health safety structures given by our supplier on that side, and that's significant part, and the networking that being a member provides. But I have to say, in the last 2 years, really started off with the water restrictions in New South Wales in what was late, well, I guess 2019 and into early 2020. And then we, stepped out of that thinking we've, achieved some pretty significant results of keeping everyone operating, and then stepped on a landmine effectively of COVID, or the whole world did. So during that time, we've worked tirelessly with government, trying to lobby, which is almost impossible when they are so busy and not wanting to hear from anyone. We've managed to pull off nearly $2 million worth of grant funding through the Victorian government. And that was really from a lot of door knocking and the great relationships that were created with various government minister advisors, who were our segue into those ministerial decisions. So that was a fantastic result. Victoria, well, we got an early opening of the Victorian automatic car wash businesses. So we basically positioned ourselves to say that's a contactless business, and it should be opened as soon as possible. And the government agreed, and we got that. So that was great to at least get those sites up and running from an automatic perspective. And that's a magnificent outcome. So great work by the team on that. And then up into Queensland, we're in the middle of a COVID pandemic, and urban utilities decide to change their pricing structure, which suddenly we got had members sending us some notifications from utilities that were showing that they might have had to increase their fees, water fees, by $12,000 a year, which is, for most people, a hugely significant amount of money. So we had to jump into gear and help understand what they were trying to achieve, along with Doug and myself and Richard Holloway, if Richard's on call. Thank you, Richard, again. I've said it many times to you, you've got an incredible knowledge about the water, how water works, particularly in southeast Queensland, and the analysis that you were able to provide and the education you were able to provide, Doug and I, was fantastic. And we were able to argue very, very solidly why urban utilities should change their policy, because they'd stated they wanted to simplify pricing but not impact anybody from a cost point of view. We were able to provide evidence to show exactly what they were doing. That was increasing fees significantly, and we've managed to bring those down. It's probably saved around about $110,000 across about 17 operators. So that's a fantastic result. So there was just 3 things that were achieved this year. There's numerous others. I mean, I was thinking this morning, in between our board meeting this morning, I had to have a quick breakfast. I was thinking, really, the amount of communication that we provided the members over the last 2 years would be unprecedented. I think I'd have to probably ask some of the older and more experienced members, but that would be my guess. We've punched out a hell of a lot of information. Doug has trawled loads and millions of, it seems like millions of websites, trying to ascertain where to find the information in the first place from the government, and then actually trying to understand it, and then writing out fantastically clear communications to people, so, and out to members, and I think that just helps everybody connect and feel at ease. So it's a huge outcome. Today at our board meeting, we just reviewed our strategic initiatives against our horizon, which we think is improving. We know the international borders opening up. We're relatively confident we can pull off the car wash show in late 2022. Likely be sometime in September. The board's still working on the exact timing of that. We are trying to make that decision as fast as we can now, and to give time to our international partners, suppliers, and Australian suppliers, particularly the time to plan for that and get that into their budgets for late 2022. So hopefully that will be announced prior to Christmas. It was really interesting being online this last week with Eric Wolf's team, giving us our magical mystery tour around Las Vegas Car Wash Show. That was fantastic, and a great initiative by the US team. They are really very, very supportive of what we do, and you could just see the excitement and hear the excitement from the vendors over there about being back together over there. I can't imagine that we're not going to get the same response in Australia if we can pull off a show next year. And that's really, again, I think, as a group of members, each of us has got a responsibility to try and help maintain and grow our membership. We've got some members in Victoria struggling, and we're seeing some pull out or wanting to pull out. We've offered some incentives to try and stay in. We really want to keep this membership as tight as we can, and we still need to grow it. So it's everybody's responsibility to sort of spread the word and tap on the shoulder of your neighbourhood car wash who's not a member, and start convincing them to be part of the membership, because that membership drives the revenues of our business, to be able to allow us to utilise Doug's and Fiona's great skills to be able to help us achieve the types of results that I've just gone through. So it shouldn't be underestimated. Those dues are really important, and hopefully when we can get shows and get back to maybe doing rents as well next year, type events over the next couple of years, we can get our financial position really under control and grow our membership. I've said to the board that I've been president for a couple of years, and I'm happy to continue, but we're going to look, to really start working on the succession plan for that. It's certainly it will take some work to get somebody up to speed, and well, first of all, wanting to do it, and then get them up to speed. So that's part of our discussion at the board level, and if you've got any suggestions, we'd like to hear about it. I probably say it all the time, is that we really do need more operators on the board. take a board position. You don't need any experience. You just need to bring your business experience. That's what we, as an operator, that's what we need on the board. We've got a good number of suppliers on the board, but it'd be great to have some more operators. So please, if you've got any thoughts about it, have a discussion with myself or any of the other directors, and we'd love to have you on board. And we need to start building our structure to go forward and be successful. We have been holding all of our board meetings, obviously, by Zoom over the past period of time. We haven't been together since, I think, February 20. We're hoping that in 2022 that we're going to be able to get together as a board again, and that'll be fantastic. And I look forward to seeing members at various functions. We've got some membership meetings in South Australia and in WA before Christmas, and then looking in the other states to do something early in the new year to connect members again. So we look forward to that. So that's all enough for me. Yeah, thanks for coming on board. Hope the year ahead's better than the last one for most people. Although in some states it's been, like I say, it's been quite hard sitting here watching what's been going on in other states, because with our lockdown situation, all the operators in WA have certainly been doing very well. As is general businesses. I mean, it's quite crazy. So good luck with everyone, and that'll be my president's report. So I'd like someone
to accept that report.
Thanks, Doug.
Greg Boston. Thank you, Greg.
If there's any questions or comments, I could take those before I move on to the next agenda item.
Doug, in seconding that report, I think it would be appropriate that we actually formally minute a vote of thanks to the chairman, the ACWA staff and other board members for the outstanding body of work that has been done through those times. So I would like to move that motion in a formal manner.
Anyone like to second? Thanks, David.
Thank you, Greg.
And
appreciate it.
Thanks, Greg.
Appreciate
the 50's on the way.
Yeah, no, look, it just can't be underestimated how much work's being done. It's been quite incredible. So yeah, it's been interesting to be involved in. It's certainly been an education, that's for sure, from my personal perspective. Okay, so on to the financial reports. The financial reports for the organisation have been published online for everyone to see, and so if there's any questions on the financial reports, I'd like to those to be tabled now from anybody. If anybody would like to ask a question, we've got our esteemed treasurer on the line who would love to answer any questions you might have. So is there any questions from the floor?
Move to accept.
Yep.
Craig, second Richard.
Okay, so those financial reports are accepted. The only comment I'd make, which is, I guess, trying to paraphrase from our board meeting this morning, is that given we've been through a pandemic, our financial situation is in very solid state. It is. We've done very well constraining our expenses with limited income, and also, making sure that we've taken advantage of some of the government support that came through, JobKeeper, other grants. Doug, Fiona, Janine have done a great job scouring any opportunity to pull revenue in through those support mechanisms from government. So our balance sheet and P&L for the year is in very good shape compared to what it could have been. Certainly, if you'd have asked any of us, I think at the start of the year we wouldn't have thought it would be where it was. So that's great management by the team. So again, good job, guys. So I'm just
nomination, election of directors.
Yep.
I've just let everybody know that our only nomination is Matt Hood, who's really renewing his nomination. He was nominated by Greg Boston and seconded by Craig Campbell. And, you know, given that normally this is all by show of hands, we can't do that. Unless there's any objection, we'll have Matt back on board. He's not a bad bloke. All good?
Yep. Okay.
Welcome
So
back, Matt.
yep. Thank you, Matt, for staying on and looking after South Australia. Okay. So that's that done, and we need to appoint Kidmans as the auditor. So could we have someone to propose that and someone to second it, please?
Sorry, thanks, Joy. Thanks, Sam.
Okay. And now we're to general business. So are there any questions from the floor on general business? Anybody like to make any comments, ask any questions?
Neil, Doug, Fiona, just one question. Where is our membership status as far as numbers are concerned at the moment?
We've actually done quite well in getting new members on board. The issue being that, you know, we seem, and this has been a long-standing situation. We seem to lose as many as we gain each year. But at the moment, and having come through the crisis, our membership's up very marginally in numbers terms, slightly down in terms of revenue. You know, just because of the different levels of members there actually are. We also, you know, because of the, I guess because of the financial situation of the industry, particularly in Victoria, but also in New South Wales, we've actually delayed some membership payments. So, you know, our theory being, if our members are doing it tough, we're much better to have them stay on and allow them sort of 6 months grace to pay. And I'm sure that we'll get those people back into the fray before the end of the year. So, all in all, considering what we've been through, I think we're very happy with the position we're in.
Perhaps just one suggestion. I know we've tried many things over the years, but one suggestion in perhaps giving someone a little bit of ammunition as far as fostering new members might be to get some testimonials from some people who have obtained significant benefit from the work that ACWA has done, whether that be drought related, COVID related, or, you know, whatever it might be. Just might be you know, something on paper that people can actually point to someone as the benefits of membership.
Thanks, Fred. We'll do that.
Yeah, I think it's a very good idea. There's certainly been a number of parties who have benefited significantly, so I think that we should be able to do that. So perhaps, Doug, you could take that on as a task. Just for everyone's knowledge, is that, you know, we, as the board, we go through every meeting any outstanding memberships that haven't been paid. We see them by state, and each state director gets the role of, or a number of state directors get a role to help follow up with those parties. So it's a bit of a divide and conquer situation, and really we don't leave any stone unturned in trying to keep them on board. So that's our approach to it. And if we need any further help from there, then obviously we go and ask for it. But it's really about trying to keep everyone who's who's already a member in, and then adding to it. But as Doug was just saying, it's a little bit of quicksand every year for various reasons, and people have all sorts of reasons for for getting out. It's not always just that they don't perceive benefit. It's that they've sold, they've moved on, whatever's changed in their own circumstances. So we always seem to lose a few. But I think anything we do,
probably should have explained that a bit better. Often it is, through the sale or movement of an operator rather than a lost member per se.
Yeah, and with some of the aggregations potentially going on, that's created some issues as well.
It looks like technology's got Neil again. Are there any other questions anybody would like to ask?
Good morning. May I ask a question, please?
Absolutely.
Welcome, everyone. Good turnout this morning. I see up to 25 participants. My name's Alan Chimes, and I'm with Star Car Wash. Everyone's aware one of our biggest challenges coming out of COVID has been staffing, which I know has been a major issue, not only for the car wash industry, but across the board. And my question today is, I was wondering if the board can try and get on the front foot with the borders, international students arriving, if there's any way we can communicate with these students that are arriving that jobs are available in the car wash industry before they arrive here and get pushed out into other industries such as hospitality, Uber, driving trucks, and that type of thing. Thank you.
Alan, as you know, we took quite a proactive role in when we first found out that this was an issue. It was something that you actually raised in board meeting, and we've written to any number of politicians about our the difficulties we were experiencing. But of course, just as we did that, each of the states went even harder on their lockdowns and not accepting people through. So we have done a little work, but we'll do what we can. And if maybe you and I can have a chat about this offline, but if you've got some suggestions as to who or how we should go about doing that. But yes, we understand it's a problem. It's a problem for everybody. And those students that come in are going to be in very high demand. I guess the interesting thing is that they're talking about, I think this morning's announcement was the potential arrival of 200,000 students in the very near future. So there's at least some scope there now. But you and I perhaps can talk about that offline, and we'll do what we can.
My apologies, Doug, I dropped out again.
Sorry, just for your information, Alan just asked a question about, what we might be able to do to foster some of the student arrivals into car wash, and I just said that we take that up with him and do what we can.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Good question. Hopefully, I'm not across what the government's been proposing in terms of numbers. So obviously you are. All right. Any other questions from the floor? Any other items? Okay. If that's all, then we'll formally close the meeting. So thanks for everyone coming on board to get our quorum. Appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Neil.
Thanks, Doug and Fiona.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you.